Hi, everybody. It's Mike from Here the Watchmen, and we're coming to you today with some folks from across the border, the northern border. We're going to take a look at what's really happening up in Canada, what it's like with the virus in Canada, and what the truth is. And we have with us today dear friends, staunch supporters of Here the Watchmen, Audrey and Brian. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for inviting us.
You
And
guys,
well, Phil,
we see on the news. I mean, first of all, your fearless leadership up there. We see all kinds of stuff about him, but we see all kinds of things. We see people spitting on bank door handles and all kinds of craziness surrounding the coronavirus. What do you really see when you go to the grocery store and you go out and about?
a few weeks back when we were taking this a little more serious than most people were, you didn't really see much difference. Everybody was interacting. Everyone was, fairly close. No one was really concerned about it. At the bank, no one really was concerned. I was wearing a mask and everybody thought I had two heads and were, looking at me like I was an alien. But now, like the other day, yesterday or whatever, we went out and quite a few people were wearing masks. And now all the cashiers, they have plexiglass up and just a little, the pay pad is there. They're not taking cash, a lot of them, which is a little concerning. And a lot of them wearing gloves. So there's mixed messages because basically the way this was handled in the States and in Canada, I'll speak for Canada more, was Trudeau didn't really think it was serious, right? They never took it serious. So really what they should have been doing right from the start was telling everybody to wear masks all the time, no matter where they go, and that would stop it because it really is airborne. When you sneeze, when you breathe, if you're close to someone, you can get it, right? That's the bottom line. Now, finally, today, our people in charge are changing their tune, saying, yes, okay, you should wear a mask, right? So if they would have done this a long time ago, it would have been a lot better. And now what's happening at all the stores is the hardware store. You go there, they're only letting so many people in. So you have to stand outside in the freezing cold and wait. And then they have so many shopping carts that they have, and everybody has to take a shopping cart in with them. And that's how they keep track of how many people are in the store. So that's Costco is a huge lineup around the corner, hardware stores. But the good thing is you can still buy seeds
So
and
far.
so far, and there's potting soil and stuff like that. I know in some of the states they're talking about throwing all the bedding plants away. People can't buy seeds. Like I just don't understand the logic, and I don't really know what's going to happen. If there going to be a food shortage? Like the supply chain is messed up, right? China's they say they're all running again, but how long is it going to take? Are they really? I don't know really. We just know what we hear, so it's really hard to know what's happening around the world. We don't know. But what we see here is that the hospital here, we never drove by, but apparently I know a nurse there, and she said really it's dead. Emergency room is dead. I guess they're focusing all their energy on the patients. We don't have that many patients here in Alberta. We have 4.4 million people in the whole province, and really we have just over 1,000 cases. So, and they're spread out. Most of them are in Calgary, and then another portion in Edmonton. We live in between Calgary and Edmonton in a city of 100,000 people. And so there's not that many cases here, really. So the hospital isn't overwhelmed yet. And everyone's staying away from emergency, so it's fairly empty there. But overall, the streets are a lot quieter. All the bars and that are closed. People are really trying to self-distance, it seems like, and I think they're doing a pretty good job up here, and there's no panic. Yes, if you go out, you can get a ticket, apparently. If there's 5 kids in a car or something, they don't like that. They're limiting the number of people in the party, right? In Costco, you're only allowed 2 people. You can't take all your kids if you're going there, right? So things like that, things have really changed. And even at the bank, when I first started going to the bank there, before everybody took it serious, it was no big deal, didn't matter. Now you go to the bank, they only let 2 people in at a time. The tellers are behind plastic. They hung plastic sheets from the roof. They cut a hole in it. You pass your card through there. they're wearing masks and gloves. So the tellers are. So it's pretty, people are really taking it serious now compared to when they really should have, but it was all based on bad information from the government.
Well, now
Now,
when you go in the grocery store, are the shelves stocked, or are there limits on the amount of items you can buy?
some places, I know at Costco, they were limiting, because of the run on toilet paper, they were limiting it to one bundle per person. So now I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been to Costco lately, but really at the stores, toilet paper was gone. All the Lysol wipes were gone. And when you go to the store, all the hand sanitizer, of course, is gone. But when you go in the stores now, the stocks are, slowly coming back. Eggs are a problem, things like that. So, and baking stuff, flour, there was no flour sometimes, no, sugar, bags of sugar and stuff are gone. All the baking stuff. Yeast, right now, you still can't get yeast here. It's a real run on yeast for baking bread. So, and then also another thing that was a really run on was all the kids are at home now. So a lot of parents went out and went to the dollar stores because they're still open here because they sell food too. So a lot of people were buying arts and crafts stuff. So it's really strange because they have to keep all these kids busy somehow.
But
Right?
you can get eggs right now up there.
Yeah, we can really get mostly everything we need because eggs aren't imported, right? We grow them here. So all the stuff that we grow here, and because, we only have 4 million people, there is farms, there's eggs, there's milk, there's all that kind of stuff that we produce here. The stuff that, and even the dollar stores still have a lot of stuff, and all that stuff comes from China. So we haven't really seen it yet, seen it happen, the big decline. But yeah, there are some things you can't buy.
Well, I'm glad you can get eggs because I know you guys had a tragedy in your house where
Yes.
a
Yeah.
dozen eggs fell out of the refrigerator. I mean, that's worth crying over, let me tell you. You know, what about like restaurants and stuff like that? Are they shut down to the point of just takeout only?
Yeah, takeout and drive through
Yeah,
Or delivery.
or delivery. Yeah, the
yeah.
delivery.
That's
So
that's the way it is here. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the way it is across the country right now. Now, what about the border? Is the border to Canada closed down? Can people go back and forth? I mean, what's up with that?
well, we don't live real close. What we heard was that what they're really stopping is the people that live in Canada that run across to get gas. Okay, so if you were, and we had some friends that were in the States, they were down there for 6 weeks in their motorhome, and they drove back right when they were closing the border, but they didn't have a problem coming back because they're just coming home, right? They're not. So
Right.
going back and forth is the problem. If you're down there and you drive back, I think you're fine. So, and plus all the trucks are going through, right? So the trucks are really keeping everybody going.
So moving around up there from, let's say, province to province is not an issue right now.
Not yet that I know of. I haven't really heard, but I don't think it's a problem. But really, you're supposed to stay close to home. You're supposed to have a good reason for where you're going. They can stop you and ask you. And so we did hear of one case, and I don't know if it was true or not, but 4 people were in a car and on their driver's license, they each had different addresses. So they got fined, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I can tell you that you guys have been to our town. In our county, it's highly frowned upon for anyone to come into our town from out of the county. And it's easy here to tell, who's from the county and out of the county by the license plates. But it's getting tight. I mean, people are doing a great job up here. We don't have a single case, but people are doing a good job of sheltering in place, and that brings up the sheltering in place is at first to me it was no big deal because we work at home and then I come to the studio here and I'm alone. No one comes in. We don't have foot traffic in our offices here. But after a while, it gets a little tense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Get stir crazy. You just want to go out, but then you're not sure if you can because, what are they gonna do if they see you out? Like, it's just, what a crazy time we're living in. It's unbelievable.
It is. It is, and it just, it continues to unfold. And here, I don't know what you if you guys have this up there, but here we have these crazy numbers that there's some bean counter somewhere telling people that okay, well, 3,000 people are going to die today. Like,
Yeah, we have that too.
how do they know that? I mean,
Yeah.
if they can figure that out, why aren't they billionaires from winning state lotteries all over the country? I don't get it. I do know that the peace in all of this is found in Jesus. I know that, and in prayer and in reading the Bible. Uh, what is going on up there with churches? Are people gathering in churches?
No, they're closed.
They're closed. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just like here, just like
A
here.
lot of stores are
Yeah,
closed, like, the non-essential stores. But I was surprised at some of the essential stores they left open. Of
yeah,
course, the liquor stores are all open. And then the pot stores are all open because pot's legal here, right? So, and booze sales are way up. And of course, with that and people stuck at home, the abuse is way up also, right?
yeah.
So people are fighting and going crazy.
As Audrey said, I mean, what incredible times we're living in, and the sense that I'm getting is it's very much the same there as it is here, uh, and contrary to what mainstream media shows us. There was a viral video regarding a guy at a bank that was upset because they were letting seniors in first up there in Canada. I forget where, but the guy ran up and spit on the door and the handle and all this, and the police found him. But there's just craziness with people going on. Are you when you do go out, because you must have to go out from time to time, but when you do go out, are you sensing tension amongst the citizens in the neighborhood?
Yeah, yeah, you
There
can.
is some tension, yeah, not to the degree of like we've seen people blow up or anything yet, but you can tell, you walk around and people are trying to stay away from you and
Yeah,
just there's just kind of that people are kind of scared. They're living in fear of a virus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we're going to switch gears here for a second. And Audrey, folks, about 3 years ago, Audrey started a website called remnantonlinefellowship.org. I highly suggest, even if you have to minimize this screen right now, that you go to remnantonlinefellowship.org and sign up. Because Audrey's doing something right now to bring the word into your house and to connect you when you can't connect. Audrey, talk to us a little bit about remnantonlinefellowship.org.
Well, I wrote some things down because I want to keep it short and to the point. But
That sounds like Jeannie.
yeah. So Remnant Online Fellowship. It's a platform to put you in front of content providers who aren't afraid to talk about what's really going on in the world today from a biblical perspective. We're not content providers. We're just attendees and students like everybody else. We've been to numerous events, too numerous to mention, both secular and biblical, boots on the ground research, that type of thing. In over a 10-year period actively doing this, as we talk to people, we come across three themes. My friends and family think I'm weird. My church won't talk about this. And where can I find others of like mind? So I made us a website. The core reason that we made the website, though, was for connection. That is huge. Everywhere we go, we hear that all the time. People are looking for others of like mind, who are awake, who understand what's going on in the world today. So I'm just going to describe what being awake is. Okay, I printed off a list that describes it pretty well. So I'll just read that quickly. Some info wakes you up. You go through a phase of constant YouTube videos. It starts your freak out mode where all you want to do is tell people to wake up and keep researching. People start thinking you're crazy. And yes, marriages have disintegrated, families have divided, and friendships have ended. It's actually traumatizing because you now have to rebuild your knowledge base and worldview. You go through emotions of anger, depression, frustration, shock, disbelief, grief, loneliness, and isolation. In other words, this is not a hobby. This is not a hobby. I'll repeat that. It's during this time that you don't know what's true or false. And this all happens within the first year or two of waking up. This freak out is less about the actual topic and more with the fact that everything you thought you knew was a lie. So J. Edgar Hoover said, "The individual is handicapped by coming face to face with conspiracy so monstrous he can't believe it exists." And we're going through that right now. But I want to say that in this community, we've been in this 10 years or more, that I'm actually shocked at our reaction. Because we've been in training for an event like this for as long as any of us have been awake, whether that's a year, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. We should be warriors right now. We should be battle ready. We should be out there as strong prayer warriors, united, battling the evil and just standing, being there, spreading the gospel, having compassion for those that are out there that are really seeking right now. There's a lot of people that are scared. And as Christians, we know who our God is. We know that we're our salvation. We know there's a better place for us. We're not living in fear. Yeah, we have moments of anxiety, but we know who our God is and where we're going. We need to be so battle ready that we need to shift our mode from waking people up to spreading the gospel. So Remnant Online Fellowship is a place that you can come to and connect. We have 4 platforms that we operate, okay, under remnantonlinefellowship.org. There's many other platforms out there by other people. Please find them. Please get on them. Please start connecting. Because as you can tell right now, let's just put it this way. The internet goes down tomorrow. Do you have people around you who have your back? Do you have people around you that you can stand with, that you can fellowship with, that you can just even get support from? Start connecting with people of like mind in your areas. Start connecting on these platforms and going from there.
Audrey, I'm so impressed. I mean, that's great advice. And folks, when Audrey and Brian talk about they've been around all these conferences, believe me, they've been to a lot of conferences and done a lot of research. Audrey's Facebook page is Audrey RV. When I first met Audrey, when we did the first year of the Watchmen, I actually thought the two of them just traveled around the country in an RV and went from conference to conference. That's how many they go to. Now, so Audrey, on the platform, people can connect one-on-one so they can communicate back and forth, and then you have a forum there that they can kind of all chat in. Is that right?
Yeah, we have a members only message board on the website. So, and then we have our Facebook group. We have a MeWe group as well that I have to get going again. And then we also have a new platform that we're actually quite excited about because it's in there that I can actually put you in front of people in their state or in their province. A lot of ministries, including your own, are always getting emails and phone calls and being asked, where can I find others of like mind? Where can I find a church? And it's not that you don't want to help them, it's that you can't because you can't give out their personal information. I can't give out your personal information, and nor do I collect it, but I can provide a platform. Many people are providing platforms out there now. Get on them, start connecting.
Well, now, is there a cost for people to be a part of remnantonlinefellowship.org?
No, it's all free. The content providers on the website actually have all given us permission to be on there. We don't just put people on there. because then I'm just making a fangirly website, and that's silly. So they've all given us permission. They all want to be on there. And the purpose is that instead of you, as you're waking up in your journey and you don't know what's real and what's false and where to turn to and who to listen to and all this crazy stuff, it's a hub. It's a hub where all the information is in one place that you can go to now and just click on all their information. All their links are there. Just click on it. It'll take you to all their stuff, all their YouTubes, podcasts, all of that. We also have a church page because some of our content providers are pastors. A lot of people are looking for sound doctrine and churches, and especially now because they're all closed. Go there, click on the church page, and you can watch live stream sermons, things like that. We also have an events page, which I put you in front of all the conferences that are coming up. Please keep checking daily because right now, a lot of them are canceling. But some of them are postponing and some of them are turning into virtual conferences. So keep checking because, again, it'll put you in front of information that's going to get you through times like this.
And Audrey, I must commend you again on that. Folks, the conference world is completely upside down right now.
It's,
And a lot of stuff, it's very fluid. Things are changing. Here, the Watchman has actually canceled our conference in Boise, Idaho, that we weren't even going to have until September. Not just because of the virus, but because of some other issues. And we are also going to be doing that in a virtual platform. And we are working on that right now. And we'll get Audrey that information as soon as we have that up and available. But, if you go there and you check, you can see what's going on, who's postponed, who's canceled, who's going virtual, and you can keep up. The biggest thing, Audrey, that I think is going on right now, and this is my personal opinion, which nobody really cares about except me. I might not be much, but I'm all I think about. But, if you look at all the information that's shoved at us and you just... I don't know about you guys, but some mornings I wake up and I turn my computer on and I just want to turn it right off. I just don't want to read any of the stuff anymore because it's so convoluted. This says this, that says this, and you don't know where to go. But the wonderful thing about going to remnantonlinefellowship.org, folks, is you get a succinct breakdown of what is happening and what is really going on, the truth. And as Audrey said, you can connect with one another. We are fortunate. Jeannie and I are very fortunate. We live in a very small rural town, and if the internet went down tomorrow, we have plenty of people that have our backs and plenty of people that we can talk to. However, if you live in a big city or you come from, like we did, from Laguna Beach, an area like that, if the internet went down, you're done, unless you have those connections in your local area. Audrey, are you finding some success stories of people who are connecting and meeting in their own towns and stuff?
We are, since we added this other platform, it's more interactive in that I'm getting more feedback, I guess I could say. So yeah, there was a couple in Phoenix, two people in Phoenix who decided,
Wow.
we both live in Phoenix, we should meet. So they're setting that up right now. And
Wow.
yeah, I have people from all over the world that have joined, that are looking. So, you don't just have to be in Canada or the United States. Please join if you're from other parts of the world. There's people looking there too.
Well, now, what was the motivating thing that got you to start this? Did you have a vision, or did you feel called upon to do this? Why did you start this website?
It's interesting you ask that, because I know in talking to some other ministries before any of this even started, platforms, we all felt that there's just got to be a way that we can get all this information together. That how can we start something, right? So that's always been in the back of my mind, because I woke up too. I started following all these teachers. I, was going crazy on YouTube and trying to figure out who was right and who was wrong. And I went through the whole journey myself, right? How much easier would it have been if I could go to one spot and go, okay, here we go, right? Instead of going down all the other rabbit trails. So another lady actually had this idea and started this website. And I was one of the first ones that actually emailed her and said, great idea, because I was thinking of how to do this and had zero clue how to do it. I'm not a techie person at all. Never clued in that I could do a website. She needed to give it up because she was just crazy in her life. So she asked if I wanted to take it over. And so I thought about it. And I was at a conference, funny enough, thinking about it, and just stood back and just kind of watched and went, could I actually take this over? And would it actually be productive in helping people? And I just went through that whole weekend with that thought in my mind. And I talked to people about it, would you be interested if I started blah, blah, blah. And I got good feedback, so I took it on. And so I just changed it to match the 3 themes that we keep hearing all the time and continue to this day, and you do as well, and changed it as a website for us. It's not for content providers, even though I have them on there. It's for us, right? Content providers don't need me to advertise for them. Let's put it that way. But we need a place where we can go to find them in one spot. And so that's what I hopefully am accomplishing.
Well, I think you are. I truly think you are. And the important thing, folks, is what happened here is Audrey did something. And, a lot of us out there across the country are sitting in our houses right now, looking at recipes like I'm guilty of, or, watching TV or something like that. And you're not doing anything because you don't think you can do anything. But believe me, you have the power to change lives if you just get out there and make something happen. There's a 16-year-old kid who's flying airplanes filled with medical supplies to different hospitals and dropping them off. There's a 8-year-old kid who he and his father take canned goods and drop them on the doorsteps of elderly people in their neighborhood. So what are you doing? Are you just sitting on the couch watching YouTubes and going crazy? And of course, everything on YouTube is garbage except for my channel and all my friends' channels. But, got to get out there and do something. I mean, Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, there's lots to do. I know a lot of people are doing a lot of baking, and there's some doing some renovations and just everything, cleaning up messes. Because, in our lives before, when everyone was working, everyone was just so busy. And a lot of people never realized how busy they were, and they don't have time for church. They don't have time to read the Bible. They don't have time for any of that stuff. They're just so busy trying to live, right? There's so many distractions in life. It's unbelievable. So really, a lot of families are connecting. We have neighbors here right behind us. There's 2 families. They have kids, and they're always jumping on the trampoline. They're playing in the yard. They're just, really bonding as a family. And that's really what we've been missing.
Yeah.
Even Robert Kiyosaki said that. Right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad author, he said people are finally waking up to the lie they've been living, and they're actually seeing what life should be and what it was like before. So I think I'm praying that there's a mass awakening, and people will really, want change. And they're tired of being lied to by the governments. They're tired of being controlled. Every breath we take, it's controlled. And I pray at the other end of this, when this is over, that we haven't given up more of our freedoms like they did at 9/11, right? 9/11 was just a grab to suppress everybody and get their information. The war on terror, right? Now look at the airports. You get strip searched almost going through an airport, right? It wasn't like that before. Before you could have a pocket knife in your pocket when you flew wherever. When I was little, I remember I had a pellet gun and I'd take it on the bus. So, you know what I mean? I just pray that we don't have more of our freedoms taken away when this is over. That's the big thing, right?
Amen. Amen.
But I think it goes back to what I was saying before is we've been in training for this. I mean, we need to just sit back, and we are sitting back in shock, weirdly enough, but kind of not. But because we can watch TV and all we have to do is sit there and go check, 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 check. Everything we've been warning about for years, they're now openly telling you to your face. We don't have to warn anymore. It's already here. It's not the end of the world. It's not what I'm saying. But things are being put in place that we've been warning about. We now need to be battle ready and get out there and start spreading the gospel. Because people, when faced with their own mortality, really start thinking about God, and it's true. Do we have the answers for that? We need to have the answers. Get out there with the answers.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, I don't know about you guys, but let's just say the government comes out tomorrow and says, okay, everything's great. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's not like I'm going to run and jump on an airplane, right away or anything like that. So I think that any way we look at this, life will not return to the way it was before the coronavirus once the coronavirus leaves. It's going to take time, and it's going to, I think it's, personally, I think it's going to be forever changed for us, for you and I, the three of us that have known life a different way. I don't think it'll ever go back to that way, and I'm not sure that's a bad thing. I think people will prepare more. I mean, like you guys, Jeannie and I have been preparing for years now. I mean, we've been called crazy. We've been called hoarders. We've been called, absolutely bat guano crazy. So, but now here we are. I mean, I know you guys are prepared. We're prepared. We could just sit back, but I'm not going to just sit back. I'm going to continue to try and help people, even if it has to be on a virtual platform, which guys, I have to tell you, I hate the virtual platform. It's just not my cup of tea. I'd rather do conferences and have people meet face to face, but that's impossible right now. So what do? You have to get out there. You have to make a difference in any way you can. And folks, it's important that you know that Audrey and Brian and Mike and Jeannie, I mean, we are not special. We are just humble servants of God, and you are too. So you just find your calling. Go make some masks for your local hospital or something like that, or do something. But get out there and make a difference. Guys, Audrey, God bless you for what you've done with remnantonlinefellowship.org. Please go to that website, remnantonlinefellowship.org. If you forget that now, you're in big trouble. Go take a coronavirus test. But go out, get on, connect with people. It could save your life. But I want to thank both of you for taking time out of your busy day today there in the lovely northern direction. And I do truly appreciate what both of you are doing for the Remnant body.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. We've looked at Canada. We're going to take a look in the next week at some other states here in the United States and find the truth of what's going on and try and connect you up. But again, the best way to connect, remnantonlinefellowship.org. Get out there, make a difference. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll be there for you when we get on the other side of all this. We'll see you next time here on the Watchmen's Report.